All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in week 16, which I just wanted to talk about the pitching guidelines. We're not going to pitch this week, but we're going to take it up next week, which will be Friday, the 5th of June. Okay, we still, the first 3 phases we did according to what we had planned, except that on this 4th phase, we have had to pivot because throughout these 3 phases, we were all in search of a business model. And some of you have had to go back to customer discovery, and we have not even gotten to validate everything properly. Probably with an exception of 1 or 2 of you, but the majority of you, we wouldn't just go straight into product market fit and scaling without you guys having completed your validation and your customer discovery. Okay, so today we're going to deal with 4 items. It's all about the pitching for next week. Talk about what more about pitches, about the preparation, how you should prepare for it, and next we look at the actual delivery of the pitch. And finally, how you're going to be evaluated, because that is very important. You've got to know how you're going to be evaluated. Okay, let's look at about pitches. Some of the building blocks of a good pitch. Sorry, just want to hide. Okay, some of the building blocks about pitches. You got to know the purpose of what you're trying to do, your objective. What is it that your pitch is all about? Remember, it's not an investor's pitch, it's not the funder's pitch, it's your pitch. And being your pitch, you want to be clear as to what is the purpose, what do you want to achieve out of this, okay? You got to know your audience. I'll talk more about the audience, but the important thing is the content. I know some of you, you might be stressing about the design of your pitch deck, but what is most important is the content. You want to be clear what your content is. So before you even stress about design, just make sure that you've got all your content in place, all your bullets and everything that you want to talk about. Secondly, it's your story delivery. You are telling a story, okay? As you're telling this story, you want the audience out there to know your story. It's your business. It's you started the business. It's your baby. Let them hear your story. Why did you get into this business? You know, and it's not so much about how you can succeed, but the biggest question is, why did you get into this business? Next, it's your supporting material. In this case, it's going to be your presentation tools, which basically happens to be your sorry, I'm just letting in my guest. It's your supporting material. Mr. Mabasa, good day. We're just finishing off something, and but stay on. You can switch off your video. Okay, it's the supporting material, and then ultimately it's the closing call to action. You got to state exactly what is it that you want out of the pitch. Then next, let's look at the soft side of pitches. Remember, it's a people skills. You want to connect with the people out there. You've got to stand out. Your presentation has to stand out. And next, try to be likable. People like doing business with people they like. People like hiring people that they like. Be likable, okay? Present a memorable pitch, people that will remember. There must be something that they must remember about your pitch. And lastly, connect with these people. That's why we didn't want to do it on Zoom. Next week, hopefully we're gonna be able to do it socially distanced in front of the judges, which is important that you connect. And you can only connect with people through eye contact and seeing and reading their body language. Okay, Let's talk about the types of pitches. There are various types of pitches. There's a sales pitch, there's a startup pitch that you probably do if you want to get into this program. There's the investor pitch. Next week's pitch, I want you to pitch it as an investor pitch. Yes, you're going to be presenting to DFIs and also some of the ESD funders, but pitch it as an investor pitch. You're also looking for some of the pitches could be to competitors. You want to, sometimes you will be collaborating with your competition. And then sometimes you're talking to customers, and then ultimately to partners that you want to get into your business. And then the next part is the preparation. Okay, the preparation, it's how you prepare for this pitch. Let's go through some of the guidelines. Before the pitch, you want to get to know the audience, okay? Please, no one has asked me who's going to be in the audience. And this is a trick. You got to know who's going to be in the audience. Organize your content. Make sure that your content flows. Your content, it mustn't be all over the show haphazard. That's why I gave you those slide templates. Don't mess it around. Just make sure that you organize it like that. You start with the problem, you go to the solution, your value proposition, and right at the end, you're going to have your killer punch in terms of what your ask is. Develop a storyline. The storyline, each from one presentation to the next, your story must flow. Okay, make sure there is a flow in your storyline. And practice, practice, practice. If you want to practice, this is 10 minutes. Record yourself practicing and look at yourself and say, would I be able to invest in this business? Okay, some of the pitfalls that you need to watch for, little research. Guys, there's tons and tons of videos on how to pitch. But then again, you don't want to overdo this research, but you just want to get to understand how other people do it. Go look at the pitch done by Airbnb. Look at the Dropbox pitch. Look at those pitches that have won multi-million rand investment. In fact, they won in dollars. Just make sure your slides are not crowded. Okay, a clean slide is probably the best. Don't rush through your presentation. I know it's 10 minutes, so you got to time yourself. Don't spend more than a minute on a slide so that you can be sure that in 10 minutes you're done. Okay. Again, being too serious. Some of you are not very good at smiling, but also on the other hand, being too humorous. Okay, please just maintain the balance. Too much detail. Some of your slides, you don't want people to be reading your slides. You want people to be looking at you and then occasionally at the slide. They must be looking more at you talking. Try and simplify your presentation. Don't make it too complicated. When you present your business model or your value proposition, try and simplify it. Remember, you're not talking to computer specialists. You're not talking to the drone technician, drone technology people. You're talking to customers. Again, not too much jargon. So I know in the drone industry, stop talking BVLOS and RPAS and all of that. Talk simply, just simplify your talk. Again, when it comes to Q&A, please don't take questions personal. Some of the questions may appear personal, but you don't have to take it personal. Okay. Don't rely too much on your slides. Okay, you got to be making your own pitch, and that's your pitch that is very important. Again, don't fail to articulate your ask right at the end. Okay, you are here to present. You've got to tell people what is it that you want, and right at the end, don't miss out on that opportunity. Thirdly, it's the delivery itself. How do you do that delivery? Delivering the pitch. Okay, first you got to introduce yourself. It's important, you say, my name is Zukile Mkalali, and just give a brief background about yourself. People want to connect with you. Smile, it's infectious. And if you look at people with a smile, I'm not saying overdo it, but once you smile throughout your presentation, it gets to be infectious. You want people on your side. Whereas if you're frowning, again, frown is also, being serious, it's also infectious. No one's going to smile if you're not smiling. Stay calm. Maintain eye contact. At least next week, we're going to be able to do the maintain contact. Don't read your slides or notes, please. Because the minute you look down on your notes, the minute you look down trying to read your slides, yes, you got to look at your slides, but try most of the time your eyes, and don't look at, if you're talking to 10 people, don't look at one person. Look at just about all of them, okay? Acknowledge all sources of your material. If you're using a graph, please make sure that you note the source. We don't want plagiarism. And keep time. You've got 10 minutes to present, and please don't go over. And we don't want you to hear you say, oh, I know I've run out of time, but I've also got 3 or 4 slides. No, that's a no-no. You keep to the 10 minutes. You can elaborate when it comes to Q&A. So how do you nail this? These are the 6 C's. You got to be concise, clear, compelling, credible, consistent, and conversational. But the most important C for me here, it's got to be compelling. Your presentation has to be compelling, and your value proposition has to be compelling. Lastly, how are you going to be evaluated? Again, it's all what is on your slides. The team, why you? Okay, you probably, so when that team slides has to tell the full story without being too crowded. But the best thing that you're going to do on that team slide, whenever you introduce your founders or your co-founders, mention what they've achieved, mention their experiences, their qualification. Market validation, okay, you got to be sure that in your traction, whether you've done market validation or not, they're going to evaluate on whether this value proposition has been validated. They're going to look at your product. They're going to look at your value proposition. Is it compelling enough? They're also going to look at traction. Traction, for those that are still in market validation, traction basically is, yes, I've done customer discovery, I've done validation, and that is what they're going to look into. Competition, very, very key. You got to know who you're up against. You got to know who your competition is at any point in time. Clarify your needs. Be clear, I'm looking for 1.3 million Rand, and this is how I'm going to use it. So you clarify what your needs are, and you clarify what you're going to use the money for. They might ask you that, hey, 1.3 million for what you want to do may not be enough, so you've got to do your homework, get the codes, get everything that you need. And by the way, in terms of your needs, don't make them all to be all financial needs, and use other non-financial means for you to be able to get into this. Okay, so even if you say, look, in addition to this 1.5 million, I need to have access to the market, and I know some people can assist you in that. Go to market, okay? Yeah, the go to market strategy. They're going to evaluate on you. Look at you and say, hey, what is your product vision? What is your objective? What's your pricing strategy? What is your channel strategy? How are you hoping to get into that market? That is key. The growth prospects, the investors, particularly the investors, they want to see if you can post the 5x, 10x growth in the next 3 years. Okay, that's what they want to see. They're not looking, because these are people who are taking risk. They want the highest reward. They're not looking for 10% growth in the next 3 years. They're looking for 10x, 1,000, 300%, 500% growth in the next 3 years. All right. Yes, let's do this. And on that note, I'm going to stop this recording.